The UK government has put India on the amber list, which meant that even fully vaccinated Indians needed to quarantine for 10 days on arrival. India warned of reciprocal measures if the discriminatory policy was not rethought. And so the UK has announced that Covishield will now be recognized. But believe it or not, the UK has still said that Indians have to quarantine because of certification issues.
As global travel curbs ease, vaccine passports are in focus. But discriminatory practices bordering on racism are dictating travel policies. The UK readying to open up from October 4th to vaccinated travellers from 60 countries, including Turkey, Pakistan and Maldives. Curiously, fully vaccinated Indians don't qualify. The new UK rule doesn't recognise fully jabbed Indians, forcing them into a mandatory 10-day of quarantine upon arrival with RT-PCR tests on day 2 and day 8. The UK government has defended these new rules as essential for smooth travel.
We wanted to bring a new, simpler, easier to navigate and cheaper system as well. And so we brought this in to the new year at the very least. And the purpose is to make it easier for people to travel without the bureaucracy, without so many tests.
But the discriminatory rules for Indian travellers sparked a major outcry, with External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar raising it with his British counterpart. India's warned of reciprocal action if UK doesn't rethink its discriminatory policy.
The basic issue is that here is a vaccine, Covishield, which is a licensed product of a UK company. And therefore, non-recognition of Covishield is a discriminatory policy. And I'm told that certain assurances have been given that this issue would be resolved. But if we don't get satisfaction, we would be within our rights to impose reciprocal measures.
Congress MP Shashi Tharoor pulled out of a Cambridge Union debate and a book launch, calling the new rules offensive. Congress MP Jairam Ramesh said the UK norms smack of racism. After outrage peaked, UK has now clarified, saying that Covishield vaccine is approved. But as bizarre as it sounds, UK has still not exempted Indians from quarantine because of what it calls certification issues. The British High Commission has said that they are engaging with the Government of India to explore how they could expand UK recognition of the vaccine certification to people vaccinated by a relevant public health body in India. While other European nations like Germany and France no longer see India as an elevated COVID risk, travelling Indians don't require quarantine and Covishield vaccine is accepted as proof of vaccination.
And India is also awaiting an emergency use listing approval for Covaxin from the WHO. Currently, talks are on the diplomatic channel as well to make sure that UK reviews its decision for Indian travellers. In New Delhi with Ashwini Helen, this is Milan Sharma reporting for India Today.
Milan's now joining us live on this from Delhi. Milan, definitely, addressing some of the concerns that were raised. In fact, quite the sharp retort that they received from Delhi, but still not all the way through. We've still got some, certification issues as they've cited. What does that really mean?
Well, Abha, there are certain points of confusion that still persist on which the UK government would have to give some clarity. Number one is that they said they're coordinating with India on certification issues. So does that mean that the certification that is granted for vaccination in India is not acceptable to the UK government for foreign travel? That is one question. Secondly, they also said that Covishield AstraZeneca vaccine is approved but has to be taken in the approved list of countries or approved list of public health bodies that are recognized by the UK, such as the MHRA or the US FDA or other approved list of countries. So does it mean that if I take a Covishield jab in India, it would still not be recognized in the UK and I would have to follow the rules under the amber list of countries? Secondly, India is still under the amber list of countries. So does it mean that I would still have to go through all rules of protocols such as quarantining before arrival or after arrival, or have to take a test on the 2nd day and the 8th day of arrival into England? So that is a question that will still need to be answered, and various other points of confusion that will make it difficult for Indians traveling to the United Kingdom still.
All right, Milan, stay with us. What exactly is the vaccination status in the UK? Which countries have been allowed to enter the UK without quarantine? Let's take a look. Let's go across to Sneha for more on this.
Yes, Abha. In fact, a list of countries that, in fact, the citizens from these countries can travel to the UK and they don't have to undergo quarantine like we have to here in India. Well, here are the countries. People living in Japan, Singapore, Malaysia, Australia, Canada, Israel, Kuwait, New Zealand and Qatar are countries, of course, that have been exempted. The travellers do not have to undergo that mandatory 10-day period of quarantine like Indians have to, even if though they are in fact fully vaxxed. But of course, if you have your vaccination from India, like I mentioned, from UAE, from Turkey, Jordan, Thailand and Russia, you still have to undergo a mandatory quarantine for a period of 10 days.
All right. So, you know, while the rest of the world is opening up, Milan, clearly the UK is still, having fairly restrictive policies. Do you sense or have you sort of picked up any kind of communication which suggests, apart from, of course, what we just heard, that they will be relooking at some of that certification status, that we will see a move on this sooner rather than later?
Well, yes, Abha. In fact, the Indian government, through the Ministry of External Affairs, has been having diplomatic talks with the UK government on the fact that there are a lot of Indians that require to travel to the United Kingdom, and such issues need to be ironed out. But we know that India still remains under the amber list along with other countries, and these are the protocols for visa application and arrival in England and United Kingdom that are being followed at this point. But remember, sources in the government had told us that in case UK does not review the rules completely, India would be following a reciprocity principle. That means that if British travellers come to India, they would also have to go through the similar rules of quarantine and testing in our country as well. So certainly these are talks that are happening at a diplomatic level, as Covishield has now been added in the accepted vaccine list. But again, Abha, I'm telling you, the confusion is, if I'm jabbed in India with Covishield, is it still accepted as a vaccine according to the UK's vaccination program, is a very big question that the government will need to answer to the Indian government. And hence, after these problems will be ironed out, it will be easier for Indians to travel, but not right now, certainly.
All right. Let's break this down further with Sneha. Sneha, you know, give us a sense of how many Indians have been vaccinated by the Covishield dose. And
Yes.
It's also a question of availability and the speed at which those doses have been rolled out here.
Yes, absolutely. In fact, Covishield is the most widely used vaccine in the country. Let me just get you the figures, Abha. 88.4% people in India have got Covishield, as opposed to 11.5% of the people who've got homegrown Covaxin that has been developed by Bharat Biotech and the Indian Council of Medical Research. And of course, when it comes to Russia-made Sputnik V, the figure stands at 0.1%. So you can well imagine the number of Indians who've got Covishield, who want to travel out. But in spite of the fact that Covishield is actually a vaccine, AstraZeneca has been approved by the World Health Organization. But this sort of a practice, as far as the United Kingdom is concerned, continues.
All right, Sneha, thanks so much for joining us with that. With travel opening up across the world, the delay in giving emergency approval for Covaxin has left Indian citizens who took the jab very worried. WHO is likely to meet on 5th of October to review the emergency use of the vaccine. Take a look at this report.
The suspense continues. The World Health Organization is leaving the Indian government, Bharat Biotech and a large number of Covaxin vaccinated very worried. The word now is that the World Health Organization's expert panel will be meeting on the 5th of October to give its view on emergency use listing of this vaccine. The hope is that Covaxin will finally get the nod at this meeting. What about the approval for Covaxin by the World Health Organization, the emergency use listing?
I think very significant progress has taken place. There are positive signals from every quarter. We are constantly engaged with the World Health Organization. We know that with data being provided by Covaxin, it is being respected hugely, and we are on track for an early licensure.
So why is emergency use listing by the World Health Organization so important?
At this point, it would be important to receive an emergency use listing from the World Health Organization. This will not only provide greater acceptance to this vaccine worldwide, but it will also make travel a lot easier for people traveling out of India. The World Health Organization has already approved a similar vaccine made by China, and that's called Sinopharm.
Bharat Biotech, in a statement, has said its trial data was made available to the World Health Organization in early July this year. It said it did not want to speculate on the approval timelines, but from its side, it had complied with what was needed. Besides easing travel, the World Health Organization's approval is a prerequisite for COVAX facility vaccine supply, which means more acceptability if other nations want to import and use Covaxin. In New Delhi, Sneha Moldani for India Today.